It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, my pretty babies, what is going on for this Monday night of November 25th, 2024? You guys are checking out an all-new The RCWR show. Lee Sanders with you guys. How you doing? I hope y'all had a fantastic weekend. I cannot complain. How are you guys doing? Most importantly for this, officially, we are now in the Thanksgiving week. How y'all holding up? Y'all doing good? I hope you all made some fun plans. For those of you that's going to be traveling out and spending some quality time with the friends and family, I hope you're able to get to wherever you need to get to safely. I believe about 80 million Americans are going to be traveling this Thanksgiving holiday season. That is actual numbers. Yes, I was checking out the news a couple of nights ago, and I was just amazed at how high of a number that is. I know as far as, and check this out. What makes it even more interesting is that as far as the amount of Americans that's going to be getting behind the wheel and actually driving for Thanksgiving, that is in the millions as well. As far as those that's going to be traveling maybe via Amtrak reported for the last holiday season, Thanksgiving holiday season, to be more specific, over a million people rode on Amtrak for the Thanksgiving season, and they're estimating it's probably gonna surpass last year's numbers, might even double it. So however you're doing it, as far as your traveling goes, have a lot of time, have a lot of patience, leave as early as humanly possible, my pretty babies, so you can get to where you need to go. Hey, what did you guys think about tonight's WWE RAW? Sound off. Keeping it simple tonight. I'm just doing one poll only, and it's over on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the RCWR show. So go cast your vote over there. I'm ready. As far as what I'm going to be doing, I know me and the missus, we're going to be cooking. Probably going to have a small get together at the house. We might end up seeing some friends. If not Thanksgiving Day, definitely during the week, for sure going into the weekend. But for the most part, all we're interested in is taking advantage of some of those Black Friday sales, some of those online sales that's going to be happening all weekend long. That's how we're essentially doing it. She convinced me, and she had a hard time doing it, but she convinced me that we needed a new stove. And I just said, yeah, okay. If that's what you feel we need to do, yeah. I'm good. Yeah, let's do it. So I think we're gonna, and she already has the stove in mind that she wants to get. So that's just one of many Christmas items that we're gonna be looking into, not just for the house, but for other family members and all that. I am feeling good, by the way. I'm feeling fantastic. Nothing but positive vibes over here. I tell you what, I went back on the air earlier this afternoon for my live campus radio show. I'm basically doing it for the next couple of weeks in my radio production class. And it's basically the final assignment. Grand total, we've got to put about 4 to 5 live shows together. And we basically have to illustrate that we know how to operate the panel, the Denon. I'm gonna be like throwing terminology stuff at you, but I'm trying to like pump the brakes so I don't lose y'all, so it don't go too much over y'all's head. But long story short, we just basically got to show that we know what we're doing, and I've loved putting the show together. Last week, I had so many technical issues, and it wasn't even my fault. I came there prepared, ready to go, but there was so much that was going on. So my class basically was learning from me because I basically kick off the work week, my show. And it's so funny too, because nobody wanted to do a show on Monday except for me. I don't know what's going on with that, but they're basically learning from whatever mistakes happens in pre and post production with my show, and they're trying to learn and adapt that way. Some of them have done very well, and then some have still come across hiccups and everything. It's hilarious, but learning what I had learned from last week, and then like as a class, we talked about, okay, what's going on here? Why is this doing what it's doing? Okay, how can we get around that? Okay, how do we fix that? This week's show was awesome. Actually just played back the audio of it. It's a 2-hour show. It's not like I'm doing a 30-minute. My show, which is called Get Rocked with Lee Sanders, I basically play old hard rock. I play some current new rock music, talk in between, almost kind of similar to what you guys experience when I come on multiple times a week, all throughout social media. Only as far as like the talk of wrestling, it is drastically scaled back, right? Kind of make it a little bit more general, more localized for the area and everything. But I've been having a lot of fun doing that. I'm already pumped up, ready to go. Looking forward to the next show. When I make it available, I'll let you guys know, and make sure that the links and all that is out and about. Hey man, Raw, final Raw, go home edition, as they're setting up the Survivor Series premium live event. Did y'all catch that special start time, by the way? As Joe Tessitore gave us a heads up, everything begins at 6 p.m. apparently. 6 p.m. Now, I wonder if that 6 p.m. is basically going to be for the pre-show, and that the actual event itself will start at 7. That seems to make more sense, right? But to hear, hey, everything's going to get started at 6 p.m., you just kind of hear that and go, well, look, on the one hand, we know WWE is going to hook us up really well as far as the length of time, because it's not always about quantity, right? A lot of times it's about that quality that you're going to be getting. So, hey, if they want to come on early and they want to give us a grand total of 5, 6 matches, I am totally okay with that. That's just me personally. I'm on WWE's site right now, trying to make sure we get the official info for you. And I'm looking at the joint right now. Yeah, Saturday, November 30th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on Peacock. That's when they're saying everything begins. So, hey, I'm down. I'm down for them getting it out earlier. The earlier, the better. I welcome it. I welcome it. Speaking of WWE, their site and all that, I was on their shop site the other day because I was so over the moon and back that CM Punk returned on SmackDown. The fifth man almost had WCW vibes there. Like, who's the third man? Seeing CM Punk out there, I just said, yes. Did we call it? We were toying with the idea here on the show off and on for the past couple of weeks. And I said to you guys, yo, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of CM Punk coming back to WWE. Everything began with Survivor Series. Like, surely we're gonna do something with the man at Survivor Series this go round. I mean, it just writes itself. How about it? And the closer and closer we got to that event, even as early as last Monday's show, I was saying, look, CM Punk, and if you're not gonna slide him in right there, then what other possible angle is there going forward where you can insert CM Punk, was my question. And to just see how everything had played itself out on SmackDown this past week, I just chef's kiss, just the way all that came together with Paul Heyman. And then the look on Paul Heyman's face. Paul Heyman just had this look on his face as if he was going, two of my favorite sons, right? Two of my favorite guys. And he just knows there's all this drama and everything. And I actually caught the mouth trash talk that kind of seemed inaudible between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. But to us guys that's involved in audio production, and we're constantly listening to audio, and a lot of times if we happen to be recording video footage and we're trying to do something with the audio, we're always trying to make sure that the audio is syncing up with that person's lips and everything. I'm watching that in real time going, "Ooh, this is juicy." Roman Reigns, what the hell are you doing here? CM Punk saving your ass, right? It's like, he asked me to be here, right? I'm paraphrasing there, but you get the gist. Oh, I loved how all of that drama had played itself out. No CM Punk tonight, but you know what? Not needed. But at the same time, the fact that we know we need to tune in to Friday SmackDown this coming week. Those of us that's going to be around at least, because we know he's going to appear on there. Oh, that's going to be heaven. That is going to be heaven. And one of the main events is going to be Jey Uso taking on Jacob Fatu, winner's advantage for the men's War Games. Looking forward to that. Meanwhile, on tonight's Monday Night Raw, we have Bianca Belair taking on Nia Jax in the main event, where up for grabs women's advantage at War Games. And one of the main themes of the night was, okay, for Team Bianca, Rhea Ripley, and all them, who was going to be their fifth member. And we saw who was that beautiful little Jezebel, Io Sky. She was trying to nominate herself, but it didn't seem like she was getting the necessary support. Naomi, on the other hand, she's going Bailey. Like, look at what Bailey has been doing these past couple of weeks. Hey, she wants to stick it to these girls just like we do. For sure, we need to go in that direction. Bianca, her head in so many directions, obviously, of course, what's going on with Jade Cargill. Your all's guess is as good as mine, fam, about what is going on with Jade Cargill, because we got these reports that's floating around. Because see, when you see how things had played out on SmackDown and everything, where her on the hood of that car, you're just going, okay, so is this just a way we can get her off of television for the holidays so she can spend some time with her fam and all that, do whatever she needs to do, rest up a little bit? What exactly is going on here? And then you're seeing some of these reports that's floating around saying that she is banged up pretty bad. She's dealing with some neck issues, slight back issues, and basically she's resting up. She's going to be gone X amount of time, no firm timetable on how long she's going to be out and everything. So, one thing of note that I thought was very interesting as far as the future of those women tag titles goes was not addressed, obviously, on tonight's show. Maybe it might not be so obvious, because maybe some people might have been thinking to themselves when they heard the news about Jade Cargill. Oh, so what does it mean for the tag titles coming up at Survivor Series? Well, tag titles, its future, not addressed, at least not on tonight's show. Now, maybe things will change by the time we get to SmackDown. Even more of an incentive to watch SmackDown this coming week, just to see if the future of those titles is going to be brought up and everything. But Bianca still trying to figure out who had attacked Jade Cargill. I mean, that is one of the most simplistic way to tackle a question like that would be to go, Well, who has the most to gain from that? Who has the most to gain? And given how things had played out in that main event match, she wasn't even advertised, but to see Bailey be that X factor in the final moments of Bianca taking on Nia, helping Bianca get the women's advantage for War Games, and the girls still need that fifth member. Suddenly, Bailey is starting to look pretty damn good right about now, starting to look pretty damn tasty right about now. So, could go in that respected direction, could go in another direction. It's interesting because optics wise, I'm making a bold prediction. We've been bullseye accurate many times in the past over the years. And when we've messed up, your man's owned it, taking that L, life goes on. But if you were to ask me straight up, where do I think this is going to go? The obvious suspect is going to be Bailey. I don't think it's going to be Bailey, though. I don't think Bailey is going to be the one when it's revealed. I don't think she's the one that attacked and took out Jade Cargill. If WWE, they've been really, really good with their full circle style of storytelling these past, I would say, year and a half, almost 2 years now. Actually, we can go a little bit longer than that. I have this feeling the person that did it is actually Charlotte Flair. Because this go round, I'm having a hard time. Maybe some of you guys aren't. You can sound off and let me know. But this go round, I'm having a hard time picturing a babyface Charlotte Flair resurface. I kind of feel as though that last rodeo that we had Charlotte Flair, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was great to have her. It was great seeing her trying to put over other talents and everything and kind of semi being that babyface role. At least last I remember, it kind of seems like a blur, but no, I need that vintage Charlotte. I need that Charlotte Flair, the one that we just want to hate on. I need that bravado, that gusto, that bragging, that cocky, that arrogant, that prick of a Charlotte Flair. I need that chick to resurface. And not to mention, I think I might be on to something because think about one of the very first times that Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair crossed paths with one another. Ooh, tension. You can just taste it. I loved it. I wanted more. So keep that in the back of you all's mind because I really think that I am on to something there, but we'll wait and see. Solid main event match between the girls. I'll definitely give them their just due. What Bianca and Nia Jax did, pretty solid stuff. I love seeing Bianca sell the hell out of Bailey to end that show. I loved it. That was a nice little touch because now it's okay. So we still don't exactly know who that fifth woman is going to be for the women's war games. We got ourselves a significant cliffhanger. Obviously, that's going to carry over in the SmackDown. So again, a nice little incentive for watching SmackDown. I love the way this Raw was set up because normally when you get these go home shows, it's just pretty much, okay. Well, no reason for me to watch the other episode because you pretty much just, right? But they've created these nice little incentives for, go watch SmackDown. I like it. Nice little touch. Girls did pretty good. We had a tornado tag team match. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee teaming up to take on the Creed brothers. Creed brothers picking up the victory. And this comes fresh off of the heels of last week where we saw Chad Gable give a strong pep talk. Remember that? Oh, I mean, he was just smacking mofos left and right. Get mad, damn it. I loved what was going on with our man Chad Gable there. Not too shabby of a opener. Chad Gable and just everything that he's bringing to this stable right now, American made. I love it. And at a time right now where wins, it does matter. I love the fact that what we saw here tonight, and let's hope that this is officially the beginning of stringing together some good fortunes for American made and everything. So let's see exactly where this goes. Meanwhile, Bron Breakker took on Ludwig Kaiser for what it was worth. We got this for like about almost 10 minutes for what it was worth. It was actually pretty damn good, but you're kind of having in the back of your mind, especially if you had watched Raw from last week. Yo, Kaiser messed up a really good match between Breakker and Sheamus. And we're getting Breakker and Kaiser here. Where's Sheamus to basically mess this up? And if you had Sheamus interfering on your bingo card, you called it without a doubt. I mean, we teased it here last week. We even said word for word, the real question is this going to be a triple threat that's going to happen at Survivor Series, or is it going to play out on an episode of Raw? Well, we got our answer tonight as we saw all three men trying to beat the holy hell out of each other. Security detail, officials coming out, breaking everything up. Adam Pierce coming out there. You know what? F you, F you, F you. Y'all can just F each other up. Triple threat match, IC title at Survivor Series. That is going to be the dark horse match of the night. Just thinking about the entire card in general. That's going to be, that's going to be fire. I'm looking forward to that matchup. For the Raw Tag Team titles, War Raiders taking on Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Judgment Day retaining the titles. Look, this could have gone either way. If War Raiders would have won, I wouldn't have been upset. I don't think many of you out there would have been upset, irritated, or been like, no, they got it wrong. I think the vast majority would have welcomed this. Sadly, it just was not meant to be. Now, for you War Raiders fans out there, I don't want you guys going, well, so much for War Raiders, I guess. No, 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 no. I think War Raiders are definitely in it to win it. The only enemy that is possibly on the War Raiders side right now, and I'm continuing to knock on wood for them, as my desk is literally made of wood here, is if they get the bad injury bug that affects one of them. But if they can do everything they can to push that off and stay on top of their health and all that good stuff, right? They're very fortunate. They don't get that bad case of luck. I'm looking at War Raiders as your next tag team for sure. I don't think, to the point, I honestly don't believe in my heart of hearts that War Raiders and Judgment Day are done, not by a long shot. Speaking of Judgment Day, I love the touch of R-Truth pretty much doing it wasn't really a photo bomb. It was more like a segment bomb there with Judgment Day as they're trying to regroup and everything. This was leading up to this tag match and everything. R-Truth still coming out there talking about Butch and where's Pete and all this other stuff. I love that touch of R-Truth. We got a plug for next week, but man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Next year, or next week, rather, celebrating on Monday Night Raw 10 years of New Day. 10 years of New Day. It was a nice video package that they put together. And I thought it was interesting that the graphic that was used at the very end as they transitioned to Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods watching in the back, thought it was interesting that the graphic, they just showed Kofi and Xavier. And you're going, well, wait a minute, 10 years, like, what about Big E? What about Big E? What about Big E? What's going on with Big E? I'll come back to Big E in a little bit, but have that in the back of you all's head there. So Kofi, Xavier, they are just, I thought I was watching the Looney Tunes Chipmunks. Oh, we've done so well together. Yes, 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 we have. We make a really good team. Yes, yes, we do, don't we? Oh, I love that attire of yours. I love your attire. Well, we do match. Oh, yes, very much. It's just, I'm like, okay, let's get all that crap out the way. Come on, let's get back to the drama that's been happening between you two men these past several weeks. Let's get back to that already. And sure enough, we did get there because it was a great setup for New Day taking on Alpha Academy, Otis and Akira Tozawa. And Lord, boy, did this backfire. I guess overconfidence can sometimes be a bad thing if you're New Day. But this backfired big time. You can chalk this up to another case of miscommunication between Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston for whatever it was worth. I don't mind the fact that this really wasn't even a match because it didn't even go 2 minutes, fam. It did not even go 2 minutes. So I looked at that. I didn't trash it. I just said, this is about the angle. We're about building up on the friction that's been happening. Okay, let's see where this goes. Because if you're going to do that short of a match, then you definitely need to make the trash talking between these two men here meaningful. You got to make it memorable while teasing at the same time, yo, what's going to happen with that 10th anniversary segment for next week. WWE hit a freaking home run with this segment. I loved it tremendously because you had Kofi Kingston, dog. What happened? What the hell's going on there? What and Xavier, he's like, man, I freaking called this play. I called it. Why you didn't listen? Like, what the hell? So we see Kofi chasing him down and everything, and they're arguing up the ramp. They're going behind the curtain. They're continuing to argue and everything, going back and forth. Kofi's arguing with Woods. Uh, Woods says to Kofi, you know your biggest problem? You never listen. Woods comes right back and says, dude, you know, you're wrestling like garbage. Kofi says all he's ever done is help Woods. Talks about how he gave up his Intercontinental title shot, gave it away to Xavier Woods. Woods pretty much blew that joint. So we're getting real personal here now, right? Just a little bit, just a little bit. You heard him, just a little bit, just a little bit. I've been checking out Goodfellas. I don't know why. I've been in a Goodfellas zone the past several days. I've been getting back into Goodfellas again. Don't ask me what's going on. Honestly, I could not tell you. Maybe I'm in a mobster mode. I don't know. But anyway, Kofi says all he's ever done is help Woods. Again, giving up his IC title shot. When Woods was king of the ring, Kofi held his cape. Woods fumbled the title shot and he fumbled with the crown. And he revealed something very interesting here that kind of had a little bit of the Godfather, what was it? Godfather 2 vibe. Remember at the very end of Godfather 2, you've got Michael, Sonny. Oh, I can't think of Robert Duvall's character's name, but that infamous table scene where they're all together, Sonny and all of them, they're all together. And they're trying to get the cake ready. And Pacino's, Michael Corleone reveals how he's gone into the military. Sonny and Robert Duvall, they go, hey, look, we talked with Father about your future. Michael's like, my future. Tom Hagen, Robert Duvall's character, Tom Hagen. And so, Michael's like, you talked to my father about my future. That's what I was reminded of at this next scene between Kofi and Xavier, because Kofi reveals to Xavier, hey, this is the reason why Big E and myself never let you call the shots. It's because you're too damn reckless. And that was just one of those, ooh, so now the truth really comes out here. Now we're getting down to the heart of the matter here. Woods tells Kofi to shut up, let him talk. Talks about how he remembers when Kofi was too terrified, which is why he never got a shot at the title, the big title, until Xavier came along, and that he is the reason that Kofi Kingston became a world champion. Kofi comes right back and says, well, wait a minute, long before you even crossed paths with me, brother, I was already a WWE Hall of Famer, which is why he was asked to be part of New Day, not the other way around. Also brings up the fact that Wood shouldn't be talking about titles because he has yet to win a singles title by himself. I mean, words cutting like a knife here. I just spicy. I loved it. I love this, man. This is what the culmination, weeks and weeks of animosity, frustration, irritability, miscommunication. This has been building up so well. I got to give everybody involved in this high marks because one of my favorite things that I love with any TV show, whether it's wrestling or non-wrestling related, you're able to just take one little element and you can just build it up, build it up, build it up week after week. You add one new element to it, just and you build it up and you build it up, and then you finally get to the payoff, and you're like, absolutely, that was great. That's what we've been getting here. And I think this was just one of two payoffs. I still think the shocking payoff to come is going to go down next week. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but just a couple of more things that came from this respected segment. Kofi coming right back at Woods, saying to him, you know why you never been a world champion like Kofi, like Big E? It's because you're not good enough. Oh, Woods. Woods. Oh my God. Woods was ready to drop Kofi. Because then it became a case of if it wasn't for like what? If it was what? And I just like the way this ended. It ended on such a Debbie Downer of a note because it basically was like, yeah, well, I guess I'll see you next week then, my brother. Yeah, I guess I'll see you for that anniversary. Yeah, all right. All right. It's kind of like, wait, we're still gonna we're, we're still gonna do this party? Oh, the sparks are gonna fly. So look, if you were with us last week, I toyed around with this idea of what's going on with Big E because actually we've talked about it off and on the past couple of weeks, but I'm pretty sure we most recently talked about it last Monday as well. But I've toyed around with this idea that Xavier, Kofi, the kumbayaing, it's really gotten out of hand. We got to see Big E step in as some type of a mediator. And I'm probably outdating myself here with this movie reference. Forgive me, but I'm just reminded of Boomerang, Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy, David Allen Greer. Their characters were the best of friends, but some problems had went down there, between Martin Lawrence's character, actually, correction, David Allen Greer's character and Eddie Murphy's character. And Martin Lawrence was the one that pretty much kept the boys together. He was the glue he was that mediator. So I'm looking at New Day and I'm just going, okay, Big E's role, he's got a role in this. But the one thing that I had highlighted to you guys was where exactly is Big E health wise? He's been very transparent these past couple of years with fans, letting us all know, hey, as far as my spine goes, this is what's going on. It's not really responding. I'm it's healing up really good, but it's right up under it. That's the real issue. I mean, he's been very transparent. I don't feel he's been baiting folks. I feel he's been very transparent, more than transparent. He's gone above and beyond, right? So I say all that to double down on what I've been saying off and on the past couple of weeks about Big E and everything. You can have him get involved in something like what's been happening between Kofi and Xavier. On screen character for sure. But I want to take it a step further. So, in case you guys had missed it, I'm going to lay it out again. And since the 10th anniversary is next week, perfect place and everything to do it. Big E, he will pop up. I think they're trying to save Big E as a special attraction, right? And that's fine. Big E will surface. He's going to try to be the mediator, all that good stuff. But what I see happening, and what I can't quite wrap my brain around, because I'm having a hard time picturing him taking a bump. I'm not really sure if he's going to take a bump in the ring. If he takes a bump in the ring, that could be an indicator that, okay, yeah, you know what? We're probably going to see him somewhere down the road then, because if he's able to take a bump like that, okay, yeah, maybe we'll, right? That's one thought process. But then the other thought process that I have, which I think is highly likely, I think Big E's going to play his part in this segment, go to a commercial break and or a match. We come back. I said this before. I'm really, really going to highlight it again. Big E is laid out. Big E is laid out. And I just have this feeling that either we're going to reveal it was Xavier that did it, or it's just going to be this case where Kofi and Xavier show up and they're like, what happened? What happened? What happened? And Big E's being wheeled out on a stretcher, or he's put on a stretcher loaded up into an ambulance or something of that nature. That's what I see kind of going on here. Now, some people may hear what I just said and go, well, considering what just happened with Jade Cargill, do we really want to do another mystery thingamajigga with Big E? Probably not, because you're going to the well just a little bit too much. I think if anything, if you were to do it in a way where you come back, Big E's laid out, and we see, oh, snap, this dude did that. Xavier Woods, of course. Xavier did that? Wow. I think that would really be even that much more impactful. But WWE's got plenty of breathing room as far as where they want to go about with this segment. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out next week, but mark it down on your calendars, man. That's going to be definitely my gut instinct, and my gut instinct is usually not wrong. That's going to be a memorable segment for all the right reasons, the big build up, the payoff. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. So that's my thought process on that. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, Miz chatting it up with the Final Testament. Miz runs into Pete Dunne, who asks where R-Truth is. Miz says he doesn't know, but hey, go beat the crap out of him on my behalf, man. Like, more power to you, brother. They left Scarlett alone, and apparently Scarlett got jumped by Nikki Cross. Apparently there was a message that was written on the mirror which reads, everyone has something to lose. So the White Six Final Testament segment continues. Other than that, wow, that pretty much was it for Monday Night Raw. We just went through everything just now. Solid addition. I mean, pretty much in and out, good for the most part overall. Matches pretty solid. Main event definitely good. I got to give Bianca Belair a lot of credit because her work with Nia Jax tonight. I mean, look, Nia's been doing very well these past several months. And I have just, you all that's been checking out my show long enough, I have sung this girl's praises as far as losing the weight, continuing to lose the weight, even if it's ever so small. I mean, she is just losing the weight and she's moving 10 times better. Especially in the lower leg area, lower leg department, she is doing better. But she's been on a roll as far as the quality of her matches goes. Very seldom does she have a botch here or there. But Bianca really pulled some really good top level stuff out of her tonight. I personally felt. Let's see what you guys had to say about tonight's WWE Raw. If you have not voted yet, go over to X, formerly known as Twitter, at the RCWR show. Cast your vote that way. You guys seen the series of pictures that Saraya has been putting out within recent days? Apparently, she's taking some time off from AEW, and I guess she's trying to get into more Hollywood projects and everything. And boy, some of the photos that she's got out, I gotta say, some good stuff. Good stuff. Go check it out. Let's see how you guys voted here. All right, so I'm seeing a tie at 25%. Half of you are saying it's a below average show, while the other half of you said it was an awesome show. 50% of you are going with average show. Appreciate you guys that cast your vote. Polling continues to remain open, so go on ahead and keep it rocking. Let your voices be heard. Fun weekend that we had, yo. Apparently, what was it? Josh Barnett, he had a blood sport event that went down. MVP was a part of that. I'm looking at the results for that actually. Where is that? Where is that? I just saw blood sport. Now all of a sudden I can't find the blood. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Josh Barnett's Blood Sport 12. It had took place Sunday night. Main event. MVP taking on Barnett. And the full results I'm seeing here: Lou Nixon defeated Calvin Tankman. David, good God Almighty, how do y'all pronounce this one? I'm gonna butcher this one, and I apologize in advance. David Mashmavila, about as close as I can get. I know I'm off. Defeated Matt Makowski. Carmen Petrovic defeated Sumi Sakai. Meanwhile, Dominic Guarini defeated Kevin Koo. Charlie Dempsey got a victory over Tracy Williams. Marina Shafir was in action. She picked up a win over Jody Thread. Meanwhile, Masha Slamovich defeated Li Ying Lee. Royce Isaacs got a win over Miles Bourne. Josh Alexander defeated Mike Bailey. And of course, in your main event, Josh Barnett defeated MVP. I heard a lot of positive buzz, a lot of positive praise there for Bloodsport 12. So to the point, I'm actually going to try to see during the holiday break. I'm actually going to try to see if I can watch that. And I love me some Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. I've actually checked out a couple of them, and I've been quite pleased. I got to tell you, I've liked what I've seen. Why am I hearing my 30 little daughters running around barking? It's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on with that. How they got out, I don't know. Maybe mommy let them out. Who knows? Anyway, moving along. Hey, have you guys heard what's been going on with Kevin Nash? Apparently, he is dealing with a significant series of health issues. I know we've been kind of mentioning it here on the show off and on the past couple of weeks, but kind of seems as though things are kind of taking a little bit of of a turn where, okay, I need to stop and I need to take care of this already, because we're talking about quality of life here, especially at this accelerated stage physically, age wise, that Kevin Nash is at and everything. He talked about it on his show. I got a quote here where he says that he thought about his options and everything else, and first he wanted to go to the bioaccelerator in Colombia and see his stem cell people. He thinks that's the best option for him. He thinks that his shoulder tinnitus is horrendous, but he's just going to go on ahead. 70% success rate of a back operation and a 78 to 79% for his major issue in his back with stem cells. He went on to say, so I got a 10% better chance, and all they're doing is injecting stem cells. I'm not being opened up. It's a minimally invasive procedure. I'm going with bioaccelerator. My neck is screwed, but it's not my issue right now. Mine is my L2, L3, and L3, L4. I've got herniations there. When I went to the surgeon, he thought that the problem, the compression, is on my L3 left nerve root. I had an EMG done on that. And yeah, that's a procedure where they send electricity. So it's definitely being compromised. Asked if he gets numbness down his arms, right, going into the fingertips and all that. He said, no, it's my lower back. It's my quads not firing. So some serious issues. It's really sad to hear what Kevin Nash is going through here. That's just, the quality of life. This man should be enjoying a much better life physically compared to others, right? But when you think about his style of wrestling, yeah, he might have not been jumping off of the top turnbuckle, jumping off the rope, doing Isaiah moonsault, tope to socia, and all that other craziness. But his style of wrestling, especially uh, the multiple times that he was doing it when he was in WWE and all that, eventually, even when you eventually get that reduced schedule, if you will, like the damage is already done. So the fact that, here we are all these years later and he's having these issues. Oof. Yeah, it just seems like his greatest enemy when it's all said and done, his quads and his spine. That's pretty much what's done him in. And it's unfortunate, but to Kevin Nash, really hope that he has a speedy recovery. Speaking of speedy recovery, I see that our man Dutch Mantel is back on the saddle again. That it warms my heart. It warms my heart. I love seeing that he's back, and that's fantastic news to hear. It is, because the last thing that we as a wrestling community want to be seeing and hearing is, oh man, this person isn't doing so well. It looks like they're going to be in the hospital this Thanksgiving holiday season, or this holiday season. They're going to be. So I'm glad that not only was he able to get out of the hospital, but he's back at home with his loved one, reunited with his wife and everything. And seems like, from a little bit of clips that I had saw online, seems like that lisp that he had from, I guess maybe he was out of the hospital for just a day or so, or a couple of days, but he had a lisp that was going on. It's very noticeable, and his speech was just slightly slurred. It looks like since he's been home more recovering and all that good stuff, totally gone now. Seems to be, regular Dutch, his regular self again. But that put a smile on my face to see that he's back and he's doing the shows and all that good stuff. So very, very good to hear. So I did see AEW Full Gear. I did watch it. I just was not in a pay-per-view post-show mode. I was more interested in hitting the road afterwards and making my money. I'm being honest with you guys. I was more interested in doing that, but I did watch AEW Full Gear in its entirety. I actually ordered the pay-per-view, believe it or not. I actually ordered the pay-per-view, and I checked it out, and I thought for the most part, the show was fairly decent in a few areas. Now, look, the Costco guy, AJ Boom, Big Boom AJ, I thought his match against QT Marshall, I'm going to give the devil its due. I thought QT went above and beyond the call of duty to sell for AJ. I mean, he went above and beyond. I liked it. A lot of what I saw from that match, which was a pre-show match, was good. Then, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to tell you guys the truth. It was better than some of the stuff that I saw on the actual pay-per-view card. It was better than some of the stuff that I've seen on AEW programming. I know that's shocking to hear, but for your man to say that, right? I'm gonna give it to you right between the eyes. I'm always gonna call it as I see it, because I am totally unbiased. Something's crap, it's crap. I'm gonna tell you the reason why. If it's good, I'm gonna definitely tell you the reason why. But I thought this was, if I had only one pushback on this match, it felt very indie-rific. It just reeked of indie-rific. It just kind of gave you one of those. Shouldn't we be seeing this match take place at a Boys and Girls Club? Shouldn't we be seeing this match take place? I don't know. Uh, Food sample owl at Costco. Hey, watch this match between AJ and QT over by the concession area at your local Costco. Like, shouldn't we be? That's my only pushback. But that to the side, this was actually pretty damn good. I was quite taken back by the performance of Big Boom AJ. I love the fact that his sons were involved. Rizzler, particularly Rizzler. I love that kid. That kid was growing on me throughout the match, because every time they just cut the camera, you could tell he was getting lost in the moment. He was having a really good time and everything, and he's trying to focus on the match, but at the same time, he's it's also clicking in his head. Oh, the camera's on me. I gotta hit my pose. And he just kept. After a while, it just kind of seemed like he was maybe putting some perfume under his neck. Oh no, but it was good though. Look, I gotta say, for AEW, what was it? Over 10 million views that they got for that AJ QT segment, the weigh-in from Rampage. That's great. That's great. And Lord only knows, because I don't even know, because I haven't even bothered checking the YouTube channel, but I can actually check right now for you guys. I'm curious if highlights of that match was posted on AEW's channel, because if not, they would be fools for not capitalizing and everything. And good for them. I'm just looking here. Yeah, it looks like they didn't make it as a standalone, and they really should have, because if they would have bothered to make that be a standalone, I bet you that would have racked up even more views as well. Because just the 0 hour, which is where the AJQT match took place, they AEW, Don Stevens and them. Listen to me. You really like ASAP. You need to take that QT AJ match, make that just be a separate thing on your channel, right? Just separate it from 0 hour. Guarantee you, you're going to get more views, because right now, that 0 hour, they're only looking at about 387,000. Again, 387,000. Now, I'm looking at some of the other stuff as far as their past live streams goes. I'm even looking as far back as 2 months, and that 0 hour, it's holding up pretty damn good. It's like a nice, good, big number from them. So that's pretty good. See, now I'm curious. Let me just see what else is going on here. Do I click live? I bet you I click live, and then I can see even more. Yeah, the last time they had a number that comes close to that 387,000, you got to go back. Make sure I'm looking at this right. You got to go back to the All In London 0 hour, which was 3 months ago, and that's got 485,000 views. So I'm just curious. It's a really good experiment that they should definitely try. Not to mention, it even gives them more monetization opportunities, more retention time, watch time, all that good stuff. They should really go out of their way, make that separate, and see what happens. But my whole point, capitalize on the Costco family, capitalize on them. The fact that these guys were interviewed on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, say what you will about them. I know that family is, some people, they're kind of rubbed the wrong way with that family, and I get that, but you cannot deny, as far as social media influencers, like, they are in that category without a doubt. They got a nice big chunk of followers. You'd be a fool to not try to exploit that for your personal gain if you're Tony Khan and AEW. Now, I know, based on the performance of Big Boom AJ, kids and everything, that's got people going, yo, we got to have more. We got to have more of the Costco family. Here's where you have to be very, very careful, fam. You don't want to do too much too fast, right? You want to continue to do this in installments, I personally feel. So it needs to feel relatively special when the Costco family appears. I don't want to see a situation occur. And I think there's many of you all that, if you really took a step back and you really thought about it, you'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't want that either. Last thing we need to be seeing is AJ and the Costco family on AEW programming every single week. That just lose the mystique and just all of that over time. So that's the last thing that, a AEW fan, a wrestling fan in general should be wishing, is that we get these guys every single week. No, 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 no. But what I do propose, what AJ and QT were able to do, semi short notice. This is a great masterclass, because I got to be honest with you guys, particularly with AJ. For whatever respected reason, hey, his wrestling career, it didn't quite go where he hoped it would ultimately go. Just whatever, however you want to chalk it up. When it's all said and done, this guy knows how to bump well, knows how to sell that character well, right? It's already nice and prepackaged, just out of the oven, boom, ready to go. QT, AJ, they could be teaching a class here. Like this was definitely all the stuff they've been doing these past several weeks. You could take all this and you could do a master class with this. Because that's the sad part. As old as Big Boom AJ is, the fact that he was able to go in there, be as charismatic, be as entertaining, and put together a pretty solid, entertaining matchup. Meanwhile, we've got people that are just struggling out the yin yang, right? Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. This ain't me hating. This is me being honest. Britt Baker. Y'all know I love Britt Baker. Love me some Britt Baker. I'm happy to hear she's single. But Britt Baker, whatever progress she made in the previous year, she's reverted like big time. I mean, it's bad. My girl is just flat out bad. By the way, what the hell? Why does she keep saying nobody cares to Serena Deeb? I looked at that. I watched it a couple of times and I couldn't help but go, man, there's a couple of ways one could interpret this. You know, off the break, oh man, is she essentially shitting on this feud with Serena Deeb? Is that why she's going? No, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Is because she's not a fan of this feud. She doesn't want this feud, yet she's being put in this position. And then the other way you can look at this is, man, just comes off kind of disrespectful here. The fact that she keeps saying this and your opponent is, no, you're supposed to be selling this and when you really stop and think about it, why it's such an issue, why it's a point of interest for those that's talking about it is because if you go back and you look at how some of these instant Acme feuds come about and everything, some of these rivalries come about, you never ever see an opponent say to another opponent, yeah, nobody cares. Repeatedly, like nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares. You've never seen that before. So just the temperament executed by Britt Baker there, I found it very troubling. I really did, because if we're trying to sell this match between Baker and Deeb, then what you definitely want to do is say, bring it. Come on, bitch. Come on. Right here, right now. All you do is talk, 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 talk. That's all you do, honey. Talk, 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 talk. Bring your ass here. Bring your ass here. That would have made more sense, yeah. But to just see her very nonchalant, not committed, and I'm telling you how her body language came off to me. She came off like she did not care about putting that match, that whole thing over, that rivalry over. She seemed very disengaged, bored, not committed, just whatever you want to fill in the blank. That's how it came off to me. Wasn't a fan of that whatsoever. And she's already gotten under hot water before. So I'm very curious to see where we go with this Britt Baker, Serena Deeb, if it's even going to continue. It's going to make AEW programming this coming week that more interesting to watch. So I will definitely be checking it out. I don't know if I'll be checking it out Wednesday live. But if I do, I'll definitely, if you're following me on social media, I'll sound off and let you guys know what I think in regards to that. I see Muhammad's comment about Dutch Mantel. Definitely in agreement with you, as Muhammad is saying, poor Dutch Mantel. He can't catch a break. Props for him to get back on his feet. And Dave Meltzer shouldn't put misleading information. We talked about that, I think, 2 weeks ago on the show. It wasn't misleading information. Let's call it for what it was worth, Muhammad. What Dave Meltzer did was character assassination. on Dutch Mantel. Let's be crystal clear what was done. It was character assassination, unjust character assassination. Meltzer was fine when he was plugging the GoFundMe. He was fine there. But once he basically started going the route of bashing Mantel for his criticism, constructive criticism at that of AEW, it takes a real adult in the room to go, okay, you know what? I can appreciate Dutch Mantel because Dutch Mantel is coming from a place of seniority. Dutch Mantel is coming from the place of a writer, of a booker. He's been there, he's done that. He's done it for many promotions, for many decades. You know that when Dutch is putting something out there, Dutch is putting something out there and he's coming from a place of sincerity. He really wants nothing but the best. That is the honest truth. And if you're gonna get all butt hurt and bent out of shape, and let's also be 100 too. You got those reports out there that Meltzer is likely collecting some type of a percentage from AEW. Look, I don't know whether or not that's true. I hate dibbling and dabbing and speculations and rumors and all that. One thing that we all can definitely be in agreement of, he does show some form of bias towards AEW, great bias towards AEW, right? So, but I enjoyed QT Marshall and Big Boom AJ's match. But if you're Tony Khan, AEW, you want to do more stuff with them, you got to be very, very, very careful, and you got to be strategic in how you insert the Costco family and everything. At least that's my 2 cents on that from a distance. Will Ospreay, Cal Fletcher for sure. A match of the year candidate. I thoroughly had enjoyed that one. Takesha, Ricochet, pretty solid match as well. By the way, I want to give it up to the women because I thought the women of all the matches on the entire card, Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander, that was for me the high point of Full Gear. That definitely was, honestly, for me personally, the match of the night. I talked about it on my live campus radio show earlier today, which was, yo, as long as I've been watching Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, as long as I have been watching her, more specifically, since I've been watching her in AEW, that was hands down her best singles match to date. Since she's been in AEW, that was her best singles match. Loved it. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. My girl crushed it. She did good. She did good. And and if she can have more matches like that in AEW, I think fans would ultimately be like, okay, you know what? That money is justified. Because look at what she's able to do when it comes time to deliver, right? Yeah, look, granted, some of the talking segments, all that, not desirable, like without a doubt. Without a doubt, not desirable whatsoever. But you know, link her up with the right opponent, magic happens. And what she had against Chris Statlander, definitely some really good stuff. John Moxley retaining the AEW World Championship. Not surprised by that whatsoever. I essentially love the fact, though, that the way the pay-per-view ended, we basically have Darby Allin in the role of Psycho Sid. Moxley! Moxley! I mean, that was very WCW-ish. I don't know if that was what Tony Khan was was aiming for there. But I laughed my ass off seeing that go down. So yeah, only a couple of matches for me that was really okay. You know what? This was good. The whole card, when I think about Full Gear, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being crap, 10 being awesome sauce, I would give that pay-per-view 6.5 out of 10. I can't go higher. I won't go any lower, but a 6.5 out of 10. So basically, you're looking at probably a C plus. Yeah, I'm thinking, could I push it? Could I maybe go B minus? No. C plus is about as high as I can go. I've seen better pay-per-views from AEW, especially when I look at just this calendar year alone. Forget about it. I've seen better pay-per-views up and down the card, middle, like all of that. I've seen better from AEW. This wasn't their best offering, I personally feel. Now, coming from out of Full Gear, the media scrum. We got to talk about this media scrum. So I'm aware of a interesting thing that came out of it, and I want to give a shout out to my amigo and John Draper from Spitball Media. I saw him mentioning this, and I would have loved to have talked about this earlier, but I'm glad that with the way things had played out, I'm glad that we're talking about it here on the show and everything. I'm not sure if you all oh my god, I'm coming across the Kofi Kingston Xavier Woods joint. I almost feel like I should play that for you guys, but no, that's okay. You got to look. It's on WWE's YouTube channel. Go look up the Kofi Kingston Xavier Woods trash talk segment. I mean, the commitment, just the overall dedication. There is a big payoff, and I'm there for it. I'm there for it. Let's see here. I'm looking up. What am I looking up? Something AEW related. Yes, the media scrum. It's coming back to me now. So, Miss Kate from Fightful, she apparently put her social media accounts in private in response to the backlash that she received for a question that she asked Bobby Lashley at the media scrum. And this had to do with race. And I got to give Bobby Lashley a lot of props, because Bobby Lashley, he shut this thing down real quick. This question that Miss Kate asked. Now, keep in mind, Miss Kate uh is a white woman. She's a white woman. Okay. Not that it should matter, but I'm trying to be as fully transparent with you guys as humanly possible. So I'm gonna load up. It's like 44 seconds. Listen to this, and then I will chime in. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. We got to make sure that, see what's going on here. Something is not connecting. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have. Wait a minute. Let me look here. Maybe that's it. Hang on. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to play around with the settings here. Is it this? Nope. Cause see, you all might be able to hear it, but I can't hear it. So let's do this. I'm gonna go the phone route, because I know for a fact my phone is connected. So what I'm doing here, I'm just walking you guys through this. I'm just trying to connect my phone real quick to my mixer, and it's connected. All right, so now I should be able. Yeah, you guys can hear that, right? You can hear me typing. So now we'll be able to do this. That's interesting that my Mac It's not playing the sound through the mixer. I don't know what that's about.
Ask what it was like to. Hi, Kate from Fightful. You guys seem very motivated to find gold here, and I just wanted to ask what it was like to come into a company and see so many Black champions, and what it meant to challenge right off the bat, essentially, a former Black world champion.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that Black champion. It's just a champion. See, we've normalized this already, and that's what I want to do with it. You winning a title as a Black champion, and there's other Black champions here. We can kind of erase that word now. We could just say champion. It could be it could be a Black champion. It could be Asian champion. It can be Latin champion. It could be any champion. So we've already normalized that, so we can kind of erase that Black champion, and it's just champion now.
Shout out to Bobby Lashley. I've loved that man for many, many years. All right. He nailed it perfectly. He nailed it perfectly. Look, let me tell you something, and I'm keeping it 100 with you guys. Speaking as a wrestling fan, speaking as a veteran podcaster, speaking as an aspiring reporter. I mean, look, I'm majoring in media production journalism. Okay. Most importantly, speaking as a person of color, speaking as a Black man. Let me tell you something. When I saw Swerve Strickland was coming up through the ranks in AEW, not once did I ever think about the color of his skin. I'm being truthful. Not once did I think about the color of his skin. Instead, I said, you know what? Good for Swerve. Good that he is continuing to advance in AEW. He is just getting some really solid shit, and he is hitting it out of the park each and every single time. He is outperforming expectations. And ultimately, it got him to being crowned an AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And I was proud for him. I was very happy for him. I was expecting big things to happen for him in WWE. And sadly, things did not play out. But you know what? Considering how things played itself out, I think Swerve did pretty good. Now, some people feel that, hey, look, the current contract that he was given, yeah, he's getting way too much money there, and all this other, look, as far as I'm concerned, I don't like talking about somebody else's money. I don't like talking about whether or not they deserve to get, right. Like, no, I'm not gonna, especially when it comes to the money, I'm not touching that. But what I am gonna do is, as a wrestling fan, I'm gonna pay attention with my eyeballs, because I got two eyes. So I'm gonna pay more attention to, well, what have I been seeing? The totality of this person's work. And should they be in a position where, you know what, we've been sleeping on this person for so long, we definitely need to see and appreciate them in a better light. And when it's all said and done, Tony Khan, whether you feel he overpaid Swerve or not, hey, Tony Khan recognizes good stuff when he sees it. He's giving Swerve his flowers. I remember seeing so many people, in regards to Swerve, they start, black, 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 black. My whole thing was, would it be cool to see a person of color? Would it be cool to see a person that just so happens to look like me be a world heavyweight champion, more specifically, be a AEW world heavyweight champion? Yeah, that'd be cool. But y'all should know me by now that's been checking out the show for a long time. My whole thing is, I don't care if you black. I don't care if you Hispanic. I don't care if you, Asian. I don't care if you a man, a woman, gender neutral, trans. My whole thing is, can you draw? Can you sell to the crowd? Can you get the crowd emotionally invested in you? if you could check off all them damn boxes in my book, like you probably got a long time supporter and fan in me for probably your whole career. And we've gone off the list of people here on this show who I go, yo, I'm looking at this person in AEW, looking at that person, I'm looking at this person. It's like I expect big and great things to happen for them. I've been recently singing the praises of Harley Cameron. I mean, that girl has just been crushing it left and right. Fantastic comedic timing, great entertainer. You know, as far as improv goes, she is definitely, she is coming along quite well. And I see many people going, this is our next AEW Women's Champion. Just watch. And not as a bad thing. They're recognizing how she's doing. And you can definitely say that in a particular case like Harley Cameron, if she keeps doing what she's doing and just better and better as a result, you would definitely be able to make an argument for her eventually. Yo, whatever's going on with the last contract she had, she's outperformed it. She definitely needs a new contract drawn up. Give her some more money because she's definitely doing it. Right. So I thought it was interesting seeing so many people go with the whole race thing in regards to Swerve Strickland, because my whole thing was, the hell with the race. Just how's the man? And I even said it here on this show. My whole thing was just how's he doing in general. Now, when he ultimately became champion, I was proud for him. I definitely was proud for him. As a person of color, it definitely put a smile on my face to basically go, hey, it's nice to be able to flip the channels and somebody that looks like me is in this marquee position. But at the same time, I was also among the first to be very critical about how Swerve Strickland was presented through AEW television once he became champion. Let's not sleep on that. They did him wrong in a lot of aspects as champion. And by the time they tried to recoup on how they presented him, the damage sadly was already done. I can remember they would just randomly early on after he won the championship, they would just have him randomly like, wait a minute, no, let's build this up. Let's build this up. Many of us haven't talked about it. We're like, no, build this up. This is the face of your company. He's the champion. He's your world champion. Build this up. Start doing some type of a countdown clock or something, letting us know when the champ is going to appear and all that. And by the time they started to do a lot of those elements, the damage, sadly, to Swerve was already done, right down to the point you felt that Swerve and the AEW World Heavyweight Champion was secondary, hell, third on the list compared to the other stuff that was happening at that time. Sad but true. Don't believe me? Just go back, check it out and everything. Now let's talk about Miss Kate. I have happened to off and on seen some of the work of Miss Kate from Fightful through the years. I think it's unfortunate that anybody that decided they wanted to come at Miss Kate and ridicule her, haze her, take it to the point where they're saying derogatory stuff, right? Not cool. There's a way that you can make your point, be very constructive about it, be very, hey, look, here's why this was wrong to say, and here's how you need to improve. My message to Miss Kate, and Miss Kate, like, she is one of the sweetest, kindest people that's out there. Okay. I know a lot of you guys, you mess with me. I come off very natural. I come off very friendly, kind of like a longtime buddy and all that. Miss Kate practically falls into that same category as well. And If it was me talking to Miss Kate right now, I would say to Miss Kate, I appreciate the type of question that you were trying to ask. Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. And I'm going to give it to you right between the eyes. And what I'm about to say, some people may not like this, but it's the truth. That question that you asked those guys, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm going to say it, though. I'm going to say it. That question that you asked Bobby Lashley wasn't your place to ask that question. And it has nothing to do with you being a woman. Has nothing to do with you being a woman. But we're talking about a white person bringing up the fact that, oh yeah, how's it feel, to be here in AEW with all these former, black champions, these former black people, these people of color, like no, like we no. And I don't need anybody going, Lee, you're being racist, Lee. Y'all know that have checked out enough episodes of Wrestling with the Topics. My wife is white. So we are in a interracial marriage. That's been my ride or die woman for, almost 15 years now. Okay. Let me tell you something. White people, and my wife will even tell you this as a white person. White people, please, for the love of God, and we appreciate you all that mean well, and you're all about, hey, Black Lives Matter, and equal rights matter for all, and hey, bump discrimination, hey, bump sexism, and like, we appreciate you. We do. But please, white people, do not speak on behalf of us black people. Do not speak on behalf of the black community, because you're not. Even if it's a case where you are in a interracial relationship and who you're with is black, that still does not give you the free pass to do like what Miss Kate did and ask the type of question that she asked. If that would have been insert whatever, okay? The hell with the gender. They could have been a trans. But as long as they were of color or a minority, any other, right? They weren't white. They would have gotten away probably with asking that question. Now, look, I don't want anybody to go, oh, Bobby Lashley, he's being racist there. It's like, you don't know Bobby Lashley well, do you? Bobby Lashley is equal opportunities provider. go do your damn research. For me, that was just one of those questions where I'm just like, when I saw it in real time, and I watched it for the very first time earlier this afternoon. And when I watched it in real time, the first thing I said to myself out loud was, oh, Kate, you don't fucked up. Like, oh man, the social media isn't ripping you now. Like if they haven't done so already, like, ooh, this isn't good. This isn't good. I can only imagine. It must have been that bad that she had to set her social medias on private. And wrong person. Yeah, she had no business. Now, look, some of you guys may say, well, damn, Lee, like, what do you think really happened there with the whole Miss Kate thing? Like, what do you think? I'll tell you what I think honestly happened, because I've done the whole interviewing game for years upon years upon years. I think what Miss Kate was trying to do, and it backfired for all the wrong reasons. What Miss Kate was looking for was that juicy sound bite of a moment where she could basically ooh, I got a juicy good one here, and I'll be able to take that, and I'll be able to trend as a result of this question, and it'll spread like wildfire and all this other stuff. And like it is no different, it's no different than I'm gonna pull the curtain back a little bit. It's no different than I remember a couple of years ago, I did a really solid, fantastic interview with Foxy Fierce for the Wild Women of Wrestling promotion. And man, when we were done with that interview, it was more like a conversation, but when we were done with that interview, I had the publicist, like everybody was just, even Foxy Fierce, man, that was some good stuff. And at the time that we did the interview, I think it was about Black History Month. So, and when they hit me up initially, they were like, look, it's Black History Month, and we would love it if you could do something with Foxy Fierce. And I was like, oh, I said, well, she's looks like she's from right here in Washington, DC. I said, yeah, that should actually be a really good conversation. Like, yeah, let's set something up and everything. I say all this to mention this. Once I had did that interview with Foxy Fierce, and I mean, good wide ranging topics and just the way that we went about it and everything. There were other people that tried to steal some of those same elements, but they executed it poorly. It's no different than when I interviewed JTG. And JTG will attest to this, I was the first podcast that when we were interviewing JTG, hey, look at what's going on with, where we are in the wrestling industry with people of color. I mean, and at that point, it was an important topic to be, it was an important conversation to be having. But there barely was anybody that had the balls to, okay, so yeah, let alone a person of color. Let's be more specific. A person of color that goes, hey, look, this is what I'm noticing as a person of color. You're a person of color too. What say you? And ever since we did that, like even to this day, JTG will still the same regurgitated talking points, points of interest in the conversation that I had with him so many years back is still being regurgitated to this very day. So I think what Miss Kate tried to do was she was trying to look for that JTG. She was trying to look for that moment, and it sadly backfired on so many levels, which is unfortunate because again, she's a very sweet person and everything. And look, I'm not going to act like I know about her background because I really don't. I don't know if she went to school for journalism. I don't know if she has a degree, if she's currently trying to, if she's currently in classes, trying to work on her degree. I don't know what's going on with her and everything, but that is a very teachable moment right there. That is a very important lesson that she just learned, which is, okay, you know what? Some stuff I just need to respectfully stay in my lane, the hell with. And see, this is the thing that I need for people to understand. It doesn't matter how many friends of color that you have. It doesn't matter if you're married to a person of color. It doesn't matter if, hey, I mess with you. You're cool. Yeah, you can like it. It doesn't matter. All of those people sadly are not going to be able to come to your defense to the overwhelming mass majority of people that is known as the public. The public, sadly, I wish we could just take a magical wand and every single person out there, they know that you come from a place of sincerity. You mean no harm, and right, perfect world, that'd be great. But sadly, that's not how it works. So guess what? We as a society of people, we got to do a better job at making sure that when we're asking questions and when we're trying to get certain information and all that, we got to make sure that we're coming off a particular way where there can be, and if you are calling yourself an aspiring journalist, even more the reason why you have to do some form of critical thinking when it comes to how you're looking at news, the news that you're trying to report, questions that you're trying to ask to certain people and everything. All of this is part of the critical process when it comes to journalism and reporting. And, if you continue to ignore all of those aspects, here's the thing: you can't just ignore one thing and just focus on, that's not how it works. Did you notice how MVP and them, when it even came to the stuff from Wrestling Observer, how they shut that shit down too? Oh my god, I had a nice field day on that one. I had a nice field day on that one. It was just some of the most hilarious stuff here. I want to see what John had to say though in regards to the whole Miss Kate thing, because I was trying to glance at it earlier in the day, but I sadly did not get a chance. Sadly, did not get a chance to see what he had said, but I really hope that for those, and look at what Jimmy Van, founder of Fightful. Now, keep in mind, he's obviously paying Miss Kate and everything. But I am on the defense here just a little bit within reason. Here's what Jimmy had to say. Jimmy Van, founder of Fightful. I never respond to negativity on Twitter, but I will this time. Kate is the furthest thing from a wrestling Karen. She is the sweetest and most down to earth person. If you didn't like her question at the scrum, that's okay, but don't spin it to suit your agenda. I do agree with him, and the question that he or comment that he is referencing. I'm not going to even do this person any glory, but this person had said, because he quote them, and this person had said, so the very basic and extremely white wrestling Karen, also known as Kate from Redacted, decides to ask the racially motivated ignorant question of the night, and Bobby Lashley laid it to bed. Flawless by Bobby. Celebrate great pro wrestlers. Stop trying to group them by race, ethnicity, or religion or sexuality. Celebrate them as talented performers and not pawns for culture wars. Um, Look, saying the stuff about extremely white wrestling Karen, no, no, no. Again, Kate, no, I think the question that she asked, there was no ill will in it. There was no, I know what she was trying to go for. Again, she was looking for her JTG moment. She was looking for her Foxy Fierce moment. She was looking for her. She thought for sure she was going to be able to get Lashley to play off of that. But yeah, like no, Lashley wasn't having any of it, and he shut that shit down. I think what really would have been a good question that Kate should have asked, because she had them right there. I think a good question that she should have asked is, Lashley, you've been in AEW now barely a month, if even that, if even a month and a half. Can you talk about creatively how you've been enjoying your time here in AEW so far, and what you feel in your mind really sets the Hurt Syndicate apart from WWE's Hurt Business? I would have been more interested to hear an answer in regards to that. Another good question, hey, Lashley, you continue to be what's the words I'm looking for? Hey, Bobby, you continue to be such an excellent physical specimen. With your age and all, you're very inspiring to so many people. I just can't help but wonder, uh, with this new flexibility that you have here in AEW, could fans expect to see you step into the squared circle more? I'm talking MMA, like could we maybe see you get back into that a little bit more? Are you truly done with MMA, or, is your mind and your body, are you just 100% all in right now on the wrestling? I would have been very interested to know what was going on with that, because let's not forget, before Bobby Lashley had came back to the WWE, when he was with TNA Wrestling, he was dipping and dabbing. He was doing TNA and he was doing some MMA stuff. So I think that would have been also a really good follow-up question. If we all collectively really sit down, here's the real kicker. If we all collectively really sat down and thought about, okay, it's a really good question to ask Bobby. And we don't even have to make it be about race, and we can definitely trend because of the question that we're asking. Okay, well, I'm sure we all would come up with some really damn good questions. That, okay, yeah, that's what's up. That's good. So it's a teachable, learnable lesson. Again, I don't think Kate meant any ill will. I think her heart was definitely in the right place. I think she honestly has just been observing, hey, as far as the diversity goes in AEW, man, diversity really matters here, with Tony Khan and them, because, man, look at what they did with Private Party. Man, look at what they did with Swerve Strickland. Oh, look at what they're doing with the Acclaimed. Oh, hey, look at what they did with Willow Nightingale. Oh, they're continuing to advance Queen Amanada. Hey, look at what they're doing over here with, like, there's so many instances that legit, I'm quite sure she was seeing all of this. And I think if she would have put a better frame on it by mentioning all of those people that I just mentioned, right? Rather than just be so segregated and focus on just one specific area, right? When you just go that one specific targeted area, that's how you, unfortunately, without knowing it, that's how you bring up unnecessary segregation, uh, isolation, and just like, no, that's no, 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 no. And you know what's even more funnier about this? These people that participate in these scrums and all that, right? What I don't understand, maybe you guys can enlighten me. Like, you have all this time between when you get approved for your passes till when you go to the event to watching the event. And then you're probably going to be in a skybox, whatever. But like, my whole point, after a handful of hours, you're going to be sitting there, and it's like, and it never dawns on you that I, I don't really know about this question. I don't really know if I should be asking this. I don't really know. Maybe I should revise this a little bit. That is the problem today that I'm noticing with a lot of aspiring wrestling journalists. They do not take the time to really scrutinize and personally give themselves the third degree on, okay, how is this line of questioning? Let me think about how this could potentially be answered. Should I really go with this? And my golden rule of thumb, if I'm looking at something of a question, and if I go in about 2 seconds, I'm probably not going to ask that question. I'm probably going to say, let me go back to the drawing board and let me see what else I can come up with. That's how I normally roll. Very unfortunate. I was trying to see what John had said there, but I don't know if he had deleted it, because I was very interested to see what oh, here he is. So once she had went private, John had said, of course she went private. There'll be no apology, no reflection, not even the slightest pondering that perhaps you are wrong and you should stop trying be your own boss here. Who's really the catalyst for so much toxicity around all of this behavior. They never take the L ever. Yeah, it's very it's very interesting. I tell you, from the Meltzers to it's interesting to see these people when they okay, obviously that was a miscalculation. Obviously, I messed up. Obviously, I was pretty insensitive to, like, yeah, yeah. You never ever will see and get that. You never will. CM Punk talking about AEW, WWE. CM Punk had some very, very interesting words. He did an interview recently with Peter Rosenberg, and he reflected on his time in AEW and a very tasty quote that's been going around social media. I feel like I wasted some matches on some people. So that definitely got the wrestling community going, ooh, who's he talking about here? Like what the hell's going on? Now, let me read to you the entire quote which led up to that point. Okay. Again, this was an interview with Peter Rosenberg. Aside from the whole triceps injury and surgery, we really turned chicken shit into chicken salad with that one. Almost a little bit of a gift. I think people forget that I was hurt because I was such a focal point, just doing what we do, entertaining people. I don't want to grade myself. I leave that to the fans and my peers and the people I work for. They can go ahead and grade it. I've had the time of my life, though, coming back. I weigh this year, I weigh this past year up against any year of my entire career. And then he goes on to say, as he's talking with Rosenberg asks Punk about what, if any, match or opponent in AEW would he have liked to had a program or story with and didn't. No, I feel like I wasted some matches on some people for sure. That is what it is. Some people understand the business and some people don't. I think everybody here understands the business. Of course, he's reflecting on being back in WWE and then also giving a nod to WWE, letting them know, hey, these guys, they get business, they understand. So thought it was interesting what he had said. And of course, if you remember CM Punk's entire run in AEW, I mean, he really was not in that many matches. You go, so what is he talking about here? You can literally, and I did go ahead and look at these matches. I went on ahead just out of curiosity. And here's what we got. Here's what we got. Taking it back to AEW All in London 2023. CM Punk up against Samoa Joe. We're going backwards here. CM Punk, Darby Allin, Hook, and Sting versus Jay White, Luchasaurus, and the Mongol Embassy, Brian Cage, Swerve Strickland. We probably could have done without that one, yeah. And let's be realistic. We probably could have done without that one. I didn't like the way the whole Samoa Joe, CM Punk stuff was handled. For them to blow that whole load on TV and then it's like, oh, so you're going to try to run this back out of pay-per-view? No, that makes no sense. No. CM Punk. See here. Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, up against the House of Black. The real AEW world title match outside special official Ricky Steamboat, CM Punk versus Ricky Starks. Well, we know he was really big on Ricky Starks, so I think it's safe to say he definitely with FTR, Ricky Starks for sure, right? Good stuff right there. Christian Cage and Ricky Starks versus CM Punk, Darby Allin. Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament, Ricky Starks, CM Punk. And before that, CM Punk, Samoa Joe. Before that, CM Punk, Satoshi Kojima. CM Punk versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Title. AEW World Title, AEW Interim World Title Unification, Jon Moxley versus CM Punk. CM FTR, Cash Wheeler, CM Punk, Dax Harwood versus Max Caster and the Gun Club. We probably could have done without that one. CM Punk versus Adam Page. Probably, honestly, in retrospect, we probably could have, I don't know. I'll leave that up to debate for you all. One match we can all agree on: CM Punk versus John Silver. We didn't need that one. CM Punk versus Dustin Rhodes. We didn't need that one. CM Punk versus Penta Oscuro. A lot of potential to go in a really great direction as far as storytelling goes. You literally could have ripped a CM Punk Rey Mysterio program for this one, but instead we hot shot with a match. Probably could have done without that one. CM Punk defeats Max Caster. Probably could have done without that one. CM Punk versus Dax Harwood. Probably could have done without that one. Dog collar match, CM Punk versus MJF. Oh, love that. That was one of the definitive CM Punk matches. Like if you were to make a compilation joint and you're reflecting on, wonder from his time in AEW, what should be part of this compilation, you're definitely putting that one in for sure. All right, where are we here? We just said the dog collar. Okay, CM Punk and Jon Moxley versus FTR. I don't know about that one. MJF versus CM Punk. CM Punk versus Sean Spears. Look, might have been 12 seconds. Whatever. CM Punk versus Wardlow. That's another one of those. CM Punk, Darby Allin, and Sting versus The Pinnacle. CM Punk versus Lee Moriarty. I actually remember that match. I thoroughly had enjoyed that one. CM Punk versus QT Marshall. Not needed. CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. From what I remember, that was actually pretty good. CM Punk versus Bobby Fish. Didn't need it. CM Punk versus Matt Sydal. Didn't need it. CM Punk versus Daniel Garcia. Thinking about pretty much this was the start of them in AEW and just the untapped potential, right? Because that really could have gone to some very serious, very fun heights. And again, we know that he definitely loved working with Daniel Garcia. CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs. And that was like one of his first 3 matches out of the gate in AEW. Not a fan of that. I remember going, okay, well, this is great for Hobbs. He's getting a nice rub off, but he's getting a rub off by the fact that, he's working with CM Punk, but this really doesn't quite do anything for, like, come on, man, like, seriously. And I remember back then CM Punk was so petite, was he not? He looked frail looking. CM Punk versus Darby Allin. I remember that match vividly. I was not a fan. I liked the match, but I wasn't a fan of the fact that we got these guys so goddamn early, because you're looking at this going, no, you could literally do like a CM Punk, Jeff Hardy thing right here. What are you doing? No. Build this up. Eventually, these two guys will meet. So yeah, if you were to scrutinize these matches, that's all the matches too that he did in AEW. So if you were really to sit down and scrutinize, you can kind of figure out which ones that he's talking about here. So yeah, he does bring up some very valid points for sure. He definitely brings up some very valid points. I personally think, do me a favor, I want you guys to scrutinize that list when you get a chance. Sound off and let me know what matches you think he might be talking about that he, wasted matches right there. Let me know what you're thinking, and let's see if we match up with one another. Let's see. Other than that, shout out to Wicked and Gladiator 2. Those movies are doing extremely well at the box office. Those two films alone, they have over the weekend almost brought in like almost close to $400 million. And I like the fact that, hey, ladies, young women, if you all want to go see something, okay, here's Wicked for you. All right. And then for the guys, hey, how about some bloody rated R shit? Yeah. How about some sword slashing? Yeah. Lions growling? Yeah. Grapes and wine and babes, lots of babes. Yeah. Gladiator 2. Yeah. And Denzel Washington. Oh, hell yeah. Right. So the guys got something to do, the women got something to do. It's a great feeling. I love the fact that, we're at a period now, because remember when it came to the pandemic, fam, the pandemic, it really, really changed drastically our media consumption. It flipped that son of a bitch upside down. And movie theaters were not doing well during the pandemic. They freaking struggle, and they've been struggling for years since. So to see that we have gotten to this period here where, and I talked about this on my radio show earlier today, which was I really hope that with the great success that Wicked and Gladiator 2 has been having, I really hope that this reignites that fire for that moviegoer to not just go see these flicks over the holiday break, but challenge themselves to go, okay, what else have I been missing that's been playing in the theaters? Like, let me get caught up to speed. Like, what have I been missing out on? Hopefully it'll challenge them to definitely, go out there. Look, I get it. I get it. I know for most of us, we've got the great entertainment soundbar system, we've got the TV, and we don't have to worry about hearing some obnoxious person's sounds and belching, hearing their phone go off and all that other crap. I'm also thinking about the people that's like, oh, not another comic book movie. All these goddamn comic book movies. Can we get past these comic book movies? I was like, okay, well, there is good stuff at the theaters. You just got to do your due diligence, and you just got to go find the stuff. You just got to go out there and see what the coming attractions are and go from there. But it warms my heart. You guys have no idea, because at my core, I am a movie goer. I love that feeling. Nothing beats experiencing that movie in real time with total strangers around you, and you all are reacting to certain aspects at the same time. Like, everybody's emotion is different, but for the most part, where it counts the most, We all are united emotionally on certain scenes, and then coming out afterwards, with that friend, family member, that loved one, and then going, what did you think? And you guys are just going back and forth about it and everything. Nothing beats that. Nothing beats that. I mean, yeah, you could kind of get that a little tiny bit at home, but not quite at that level when you're just fresh coming out of that theater. There's just something about that whole out of the theater feeling that you get. You know exactly what I'm trying to describe, but I can't really, right? You just got to be in that moment. You got to be in that zone, and nothing beats that. So it's nice to see that these two movies are doing well. I can't wait to see what happens with other movies. I'm looking at Batman 2. I'm definitely looking at the next Mission Impossible movie. Those should be killer. Captain America, that Captain America movie, Brave New World. That oh man, I cannot wait to see how a lot of those are gonna do. Classmate of mine is hooking me up, man. I was telling him how I was trying to get a Venom popcorn bucket, and he just happened to have a spare one. And he was like, yeah, I got one. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm like, you rock. Cause he just said, yeah, I'll give you mine. I got a spare one. It's been in bubble wrap all this time. I'm like, wait, what? And he showed me a picture of it. I was like, oh, that is badass. And I was like, name your price. Like, how much you paid for it? And he was like, oh, well, I paid $40. So for you, it's like, give me 45. I'm like, done. So I'll be getting that after after this holiday break is over with. So I'm looking forward to that. Will I put popcorn in my Venom joint? Yeah, probably. Probably. I will probably do it. I'll probably do it. Hey, before we roll out, let's look at the Survivor Series card. We're not going to get into predictions here. I just want to give you guys an updated card. And as far as predictions, I think what we'll end up doing, I'll probably, how many matches are we talking about first off? So we're looking at five matches. I will most likely do a YouTube short, 60 seconds, and I'll go through it. So look out for that. I'll probably post that sometime Tuesday on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada at the Rogers Arena. Survivor Series. This is how your card is looking right now. LA Knight defends the United States Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura. Meanwhile, Bron Breakker, Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser, three-way dance for the Intercontinental Championship. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and potentially Bailey going up against Judgment Day's Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Also, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae, Women's WarGames match. Gunther defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest. I knew I forgot something. We saw them tumble on Raw tonight to open up the show. I knew I almost forgot about something there. I just wasn't sure what. That was kind of nice seeing Gunther get a little bit of payback from what went down last week when Damian Priest jumped on him. Because remember, it backfired. Remember that Gunther tried attacking Damian Priest at a table where Priest was doing autographs, and that backfired. And I guess they said, well, we got to give Gunther his comeuppance this week. So he got his comeuppance this week. But Gunther defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest. Roman Reigns, the Usos, Sami Zayn, CM Punk go up against Great Value Bloodlines, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tanga Loa, Big Bronson Reed, Men's War Games. One thing I can't help but wonder, what's up with Seth Rollins? Just when it seemed as though Seth Rollins was going to be that man, turns out he's not that fifth guy. And CM Punk just slides on in there. what does this mean for Seth Rollins? Because the way everything seemed to have panned itself out, you were just under the impression, well, Seth Rollins for sure is going to want to extract some type of retribution here. Yeah. I think Seth Rollins is going to get involved in that men's war games. Don't be sleeping on that. I think Seth Rollins is going to play a role, whether or not it backfires. That's the question. That's the question. Because he owes Bronson Reed a receipt. So whether or not he's going to be able to do that or it backfires, that's where things get a little bit murky. So we'll talk more about it when I get ready to offer predictions for Survivor Series. Again, we'll have that. We'll be in and out. We'll do that as a YouTube short. It'll be like 60 seconds. Trust me, I'll be able to make all my points in 60 seconds. Don't worry about it. Good hands. You guys will enjoy that. And yes, we will be here Saturday after Survivor Series goes off the air. We'll have the Survivor Series post show. I wouldn't miss that for nothing. So what I'm mainly concerned about is what's going down in December, because I have to go to a Christmas party with the wifey. And I'm hoping that on the day that we're doing it, there's no pay-per-view from anybody. So, because I told her, hey, I'm definitely going to be there. So I'm hoping there's no major pay-per-view that weekend. And I guess if push comes to shove and there is, I don't know. I guess I can't get out of it, right? Like I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. I definitely don't want to be on the sofa. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Other than that, that is pretty much it. Let's stick a fork in it. We did just about a little bit over the 2 hour, almost 5 minute mark right about now. So look, quick programming note. I'm putting the final touches on the Vince McMahon docu-series Omnibus. So for those of you that's going to be traveling, that definitely will be available in audio format on demand and downloads for you all to check out and enjoy. I'll also have it be available on the YouTube channel as well for you all. So, by the way, safe travels. I hope that you get to wherever you're trying to get to. If you're driving, please, you're not just driving for yourself, you're driving for others as well. I gotta admit to you guys, I saw a lot of impatient people out on the road today, and right down to the point, I even drove past a really bad car accident. That's how fast some of these people are going. How some people are impatient. Don't be tailing behind somebody. Especially when you can definitely tell they're driving at a accelerated pace. That doesn't mean you accelerate as well, y'all. Give them their space, let them do their thing. And if you're that pressed, then, maneuver out and, go do your thing. But yeah, it's just, you gotta have some patience out there, especially during this holiday season. The later that we get, it's estimated that Wednesday, everybody and their mama is going to be traveling. And I believe they said it's really going to be bad next Tuesday, when it's estimated that everybody is pretty much going to be back in town and everything. So have some patience out there. Okay. Have some patience out there. I hope you guys eat good and you're able to take advantage of some of these sales that's going to be coming up for Black Friday weekend, Cyber Tuesday, all that good stuff. Yeah. Show some love, like, share, definitely show love to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Get at your man all throughout social media. Use keywords, the RCWR show. I'm now on Blue Sky. For those of you that are interested, if you got Blue Sky, come say hello to me on there. You can find me over there at the RCWR show. I'm not abandoning X. I just like variety. right? I just like variety. Once again, from my family to yours, happy Thanksgiving. For those of you that maybe aren't going to be celebrating it, happy holiday. Appreciate those of you that if you're working in customer service, particularly retail, Big Lee is supporting you guys, man. Love you guys tremendously. Thank you all for doing what you're going to be doing all this week going into the weekend. Trust me, I've been there. I've done it. Used to work in retail. I know. I feel you. I feel you. I'm with you in spirit. Seriously, on behalf of everybody, thank you for going in there, doing your work, doing the dirty work that, let's be honest, most of us don't want to do. Right? Most of us don't want to do. So bad respect. Until next go around, my pretty babies, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll see you all next go around. Hey, shout out to my people in New York. Was checking out the analytics the other day, and I see New York. Man, you New Yorkers, you all are representing, checking out the show. I love that. Much respect, much love. Take care, y'all.